In previous videos, I explained why self-service analytics fails and what actually makes it work. But there's another side to this conversation. Even when self-service doesn't fail, it can still become expensive. Not because the idea is wrong, but because of how it scales. Today, I want to look at the costs most organizations don't plan for. Welcome to Data in Practice, where I share real-world lessons from building and operating data systems. Self-service is usually introduced with good intentions: reduce bottlenecks, empower teams, move faster. So access expands. More people can build reports. More teams create their own datasets. More dashboards are published. At first, it looks like progress, but expansion without structure always carries a cost. The first cost often appears in licensing. People are given full access just in case. Users who only need to view reports are given permission to create them. Workspaces multiply. Datasets are copied instead of reused. Capacity gets upgraded, not because inside demand increased, but because duplication did. It doesn't feel dramatic, it just feels busy. But busy systems are expensive systems. The second cost is duplication. When teams build independently, the same calculations are recreated in different places. Revenue is defined slightly differently. Margins are calculated in different ways. Filters are applied inconsistently. Each version seems reasonable on its own, but across the organization, consistency begins to fade. Now, you don't just have more dashboards, you have more definitions. And maintaining multiple definitions is always more expensive than maintaining one. The third cost is time. This is where the impact becomes visible. Meetings shift from decisions to validation. Instead of asking, what action should we take? People ask, why does this not match? Data teams spend hours explaining differences, reconciling reports, and tracing calculations. Self-service was meant to reduce dependency. Instead, it changes the type of dependency. Now, teams rely on specialists to untangle inconsistencies. Time becomes the hidden expense, and time compounds quickly. Another cost which appears later is cleanup. When duplication and confusion build up, governance is introduced reactively. Access is restricted, reports are rebuilt, definitions are rewritten, data structures are redesigned. But redesigning after expansion is far more expensive than designing carefully at the start. Cleanup always costs more than prevention. And beneath all of this is the most expensive cost of all: weak foundations. If the core data structure is poorly designed, every new dashboard adds more strain. You validate more, you reconcile more, you fix more. The system becomes harder to trust and harder to maintain, not because people misuse it, but because it was killed before it was stabilized. Self-service analytics is not automatically cheaper. It is only cheaper when it is structured deliberately. Clear ownership, shared definitions, controlled creation rights, governance from the beginning, access layered on top of reliability, not the other way around. In production environments, complexity does not explode, it accumulates. And when it accumulates quietly, it becomes expensive before anyone notices. If you've seen self-service grow in your organization, what was the first cost that appeared? Licensing? duplication, support load, or late cleanup. And if you want practical breakdowns of how analytics systems behave after rollout, subscribe to Data in Practice. Thanks for watching.